I remember I used to be bullied at school so often. But this particular day, this guy just decided that he was going to pick on me. I stood in front of the class and he literally banged my head against the wall.
As a child, I grew up going to church regularly, like all families do, into Sunday school, where we engage with many other children and teachers, and part of that also helps me to realize that this is what I want to do.
We need to get our children to read more, because I do believe that a reading nation is a winning nation.
Finding your voice is not about the words you use. It's not about the tone you speak in, but more importantly, it's about being fearless in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire. When I found my voice, I inspired others to find theirs. Because when the whole world is silent, one voice has the ability to speak volumes. I'm a radio presenter, motivational speaker, dream coach, and author. But my life wasn't always like this. It was once filled with sorrow and sadness, and I was trapped until I met someone who changed my life. I grew up in Westbury. I spent the first 5 or so years of my life in Westbury. We lived at the flats in Westbury with my mom, my dad, and my sister. And things weren't always this way. I remember there was a time where it was the norm in our house for my parents to be drunk on weekends and fighting. And on Saturdays, my sister and I would disappear to this little park around the corner. And over there was a combi who would literally come every week and pick up all of the children from the community and take us to a children's program. And that's where we learned to pray. That's where we learned about Jesus. And I think that's where it all started for me. And I'll never forget one Christmas, I think I was about 5 years old or so, and my parents were fighting as normal, and I ran into the bedroom, threw myself on the bed, and I remember praying and just saying, Jesus, let this be the last year that we have to live like this. And if you answer this prayer for me, I'll live for you for the rest of my life. And God answered that prayer, because that was the last Christmas we ever experienced that, and our lives were completely transformed after that. Within about 3 months or so after the Christmas prayer, my parents had the opportunity to move to a new community. They managed to buy their first house together. And it was a really new community. There was, the community was called Ennerdale. New houses had come up. They qualified to get a house there. And so we had the opportunity to move. And I feel like that was the defining moment. And that was just what we needed as a family. The first day of school for me was absolutely amazing. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was so excited for school simply because we had been playing school so much before that, and I was often the teacher or I was often the star student. And I think my mom had really prepared me for school, and so I knew that school was going to be great. It was a battle to get me into school because I was so little. They wanted me to wait another year, and my granny went and fought for me to get into school at the right time. I feel like my constant desire has always been for affirmation. I just always wanted to feel that I matter. I always wanted to feel that I'm important. I always wanted to feel valuable. And I always wanted to feel appreciated and loved.
Listen guys, I have to leave to the principal's office. You will look after the class.
I was never the popular child. In my earlier years, I was never the sporty kind. I didn't fit in very well. I remember I used to be bullied at school so often. And so I had really low self-esteem. And I really battled to find my place. I battled to find out, where do I fit in, where do I belong, who are my real friends. And so that was really something I struggled with quite a bit, especially in my younger years, especially in primary school. I wasn't the best soccer player in the street, and so as a result, I would be the last one to be picked when they were picking teams.
Darren, come.
This particular day, this guy just decided that he was going to pick on me, and so he wrote my name on the board. And obviously I tried to stand up for myself, and I said, but this is not fair. I didn't do anything. And I'll never forget, he called me to the front because he was the class monitor. He was bigger, he was taller, and I stood in front of the class, and he literally banged my head against the wall. And I'll never forget, the surface of the wall had like little sharp points because it wasn't a smooth painted surface. And those little blobs of paint literally stuck in the back of my head, pricked me in the back of my head. And I'll never forget how embarrassed I was, but not even by the fact that he had beaten me up, more by the fact that everybody laughed. And it almost sent the message now that I'm an easy target. And so after that, it was easier for anyone else to bully me when they felt the need to bully somebody. I really battled, but my way of coping at that time was really by excelling at school. And so I would pour my heart into really doing well at school because I knew that in the classroom I could shine. And so for me, that was my way of getting back at everybody for not being able to be popular on the sports field or with everybody else. And so I really excelled in school.
Darren, in maths, in English. Oh, my boy, I'm so proud of you.
I'll never forget, there was one year where we were supposed to go on a holiday, and I tried to convince my parents to not go on holiday because I was afraid that I would miss honors evening and then I wouldn't get the attention that I wanted. But my grade 2 report, I remember being so excited when we opened it up and I saw how well I did. But really, that 13 out of 10 just stood out, and I tried to understand, how does this work? How is it possible? We were introduced to this concept of a journal by our English teacher. And she did it really to get our marks up and to get us to just enjoy writing more. So she offered to give us about 20% towards our term mark if we agreed to hand in a journal every Friday. And so we started out by doing it simply for the extra points, and it would go something like, "Dear journal, I had a nice week, shop," and I would hand it in. But what was so amazing was what our teacher did. She would spend her whole weekend writing back to every one of us who handed in a journal. And so she would write back a little message like, "Keep going, you're doing well." And I'll never forget, there was one time where I started to trust this journal concept, and I wrote in my journal, "It's been a really tough week at home. It's been about 3 years now that my dad hasn't been working, and I can see that it's taken a toll on my mom. She had to send us with a letter to a neighbor the other day just to ask for some food." And I shared that experience in my journal with my teacher, and she wrote back and she just said, "Hang in there, it's gonna get better. I'm praying for you. I believe it's gonna get better in the next while, so just keep doing well," And it was such a great platform for me to let out what I was going through without having to make myself vulnerable to everybody else in the classroom. I think writing in that journal was definitely practice for what I would be doing right now. Because I felt like it was a place where I learned to be vulnerable, I learned to express myself. And so when I got to the point of having to write my books, I was able to do it. It was almost a natural thing. 21 minutes after 6 on the community's favorite. It's Rainbow FM 90.7, and this is Club Joy on a Wednesday morning. Good morning and welcome to it. Going to be a great morning. My name's Darren.
And I'm JP. What a wonderful morning it is. We're going to be with you up until 9 o'clock. I somehow feel like today is a Friday morning. I feel like saying it's Rasarige Vrydag, even though it's a Wednesday.
And so this morning, we really want to just get some thankfulness going. How's that?
An attitude of gratitude.
That's right. So use the hashtag an attitude of gratitude and let us know between 6 and 7, what is the greatest gift you've ever received, or what is the greatest gift you've ever given? Now, in the work that I do, I realize that I do teach. Every day for me is a teaching day, and what I do is imparting knowledge, imparting skill, inspiring people. And so I just teach on a different platform. My classroom is just not based in a school. My classroom is the stages that I get the opportunity to grace. My classroom is the corporate companies that I get to go into and work with their people. My classroom is the radio station where I get to speak for 3 hours every single morning and help people have a great start to their day. And so I feel like I'm still functioning in that role all the time. So about 3 years ago, I had been married for a year, and we got to a point in our marriage where we were just so dead broke, and it was really a tough time. And in that time, I had to dig deep and find out and answer 3 questions for myself. The first one was, how badly do I want to succeed? The second question was, what is the cost of not achieving my dream? And the third one was, what's in my hand? And in that moment, I remembered that 13 out of 10. And I remembered that if I could possibly use that story, perhaps partner it with an inspirational book, I could possibly have a different life. I then really remembered all of that and shared my stories. And today, I get to live my dream. So right now we're on our way to my primary school. And it's so exciting because I'm gonna have the opportunity to just go back and say thank you to Mrs. Lucas for the impact that she's had in my life. I don't think she knows just exactly how much she's impacted my life. I don't think she's expecting anything like this. So I think it's gonna be emotional, but it's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to it.
Good afternoon, boys and girls.
Good afternoon, teachers, and good afternoon, friends.
Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Don't get busy. Don't forget your homework. I am teaching at Madendelay Primary School. I came to the school 28 years ago. I am in foundation phase, and this will be my 34th year of teaching. I teach English, Afrikaans, maths, and life skills. As a child, I grew up going to church regularly, like all families do. Into Sunday school, where we engage with many other children and teachers, and part of that also helps me to realize that this is what I want to do. I want to inspire other children and teachers. I guess I inherited from my mom. She was a teacher, and going to school with her from a very young age, seeing what she's doing over weekends when they do prep work and those kind of things, I sort of liked what she did. And I thought this is what I want to do one day. It has to be your passion, it has to be your life. And that is what teaching has been to me. If you don't love what you are doing, you will not last that long. I do believe that whether it's just one or two children that you touch in your class, you have made a difference. And looking back over the years, I can definitely see the difference in the type of learners that comes around, that's in the society, that's progressing. You need to have the passion, you need to be alert all the time, you need to be able to spot certain strengths in children. When there's a need, you need to attend to that need, and you need to build on it. And through your actions and through your words and through your sympathy and through your passion and empathy or whatever, that is how you can inspire young children. And I tend to talk to my children all the time, making them aware of what's going on around them. They need to be able to decide now already at this young age what I would like to be.
I think it's so important to go back and say thank you, because gratitude opens you up for more. And I feel like not enough people go back and thank teachers for the incredible work that they do in our lives and how they shape us. And so I feel that today, by me doing this, will really be a lesson to other people as well, for them to make that effort to thank teachers for the role that they've played in our lives. My teacher. How are you?
I'm well, and you?
Good, thank you.
I can't complain, man.
So good to see you.
You too?
Were you surprised?
Yes, definitely.
It's changed so much from when I was here.
Wow, definitely. You weren't here with the new section, eh?
Yeah. How long has it been?
Since 93.
Oh, there was that go slow.
Yes, we had the go slow.
I remember that.
The teachers actually went on a go
I
slow.
remember that. We were like, oh, in Sukkot for school.
Yes,
Remember that?
exactly, yeah. Because we also wanted fancy lights and electricity and all of those things which we didn't have.
Sure. I remember that like it was yesterday. So really, I really wanted to just come back and say thank you so much for what you did for me. I don't know if you knew back then exactly what it was that you did, but I've had some time to reflect now that I'm an adult. And I think now I realize, now that I've discovered my purpose, who I am and why I'm on the face of the earth, I realize now just what that 13 out of 10 meant that you gave me for recitation back in grade 2. And so back then it was probably just a gesture from your side. I don't even know how it all went, but it is all I needed. All my life I was just looking for affirmation. I was just looking for just to know that I belong and that what I did mattered and that there was place for me in the world and that I was valuable. And so that 13 out of 10 really affirmed me. It affirmed my purpose. And now that I get to live my dream and experience my purpose every single day, I know that that act right there was really what set me on the course of my life. And so the best way I can do, there really is nothing I could buy you or nothing I could give you to thank you, to thank you enough. But really from my heart, I've got just a little scroll. And I believe that the written word is so much more powerful. So I've got a little scroll that I would love to present to you for you to keep. Awesome. And it's just to say thank you. And if you'd allow me, I'd love to read it through to you. So it says, thanks to you, in appreciation of Marilyn Lucas, that's you. You changed my life by giving me 13 out of 10 for recitation in grade 2. And that was all I needed to affirm the gift inside of me and help me discover my purpose and live it. And so for that, I want to say thank you. I've learned from your example to pass this kindness on to someone else who may be in need. You've inspired me to pay it forward. And so in honor and celebration of people like you, yours sincerely, and it's signed by me.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
That's all we as teachers need. We will never be rich.
Thank you.
But this is our richness. And thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This is so awesome. Thank you. You know, it all hang.
Yeah.
No, but I'm glad I could make a difference in your life, and I sincerely hope there are many other learners out there that could say the same. Thank you. Sometimes you pick up somebody has got a certain talent, and I think at that stage my rationality was, this child does have a talent, and maybe he will further his career in something like that. Not knowing then, it's not more than 30 years ago already, that this will actually become a reality. So in my mind, I gave a 13 because that was the only way I could explain to you that he was really excellent when it comes to talking.
So for my pay it forward, I'm really hoping that I can do something that will leave a legacy, not just in the lives of the children, but really help them instill confidence in themselves as well. So I'm going to be donating a couple of my children's book, which is called My Seed of Greatness, to the school in Eldorado Park.
I am the principal of Herengracht Primary School in Extension 4, Eldorado Park. It is a community that largely has unemployed parents, and so we really struggle, but our parents are committed to the academic performance and the success of their children. So together with staff, we're making the best of what we can at the school. It's a no-fee school, so we do have our serious financial challenges. We have 888 learners at the school. It sounds big, but it's not actually. There are schools with much more learners and all that. But yeah, that is our learner component we have. We need to get our children to read more, because I do believe that a reading nation is a winning nation. And if learners can read more and they can practice their reading skills, their spelling, their vocabulary, their confidence will just improve. And it is important that they know that there are resources available to take them to any place in the world through a book. And that is why I feel frustrated that we do not have all the resources that I would like us to have.
Good morning. I'm looking for Mrs. Daniels.
Good morning, Mrs. Daniels.
Mrs. Daniels, hi. I'm Darren August.
Darren August?
Yes.
Oh, you're an author?
Yes, it's good to meet you.
Wow.
Hi, ma'am. Hello.
Hi, Darren.
So, I've done some research and I know about your school. I know that you've just recently taken over as principal of the school, and I know that your library is a little bit under-resourced, and so I've just recently been on a mission to really just pay forward for something that somebody has done for me. And so I've got a little bit of a surprise that I'd like to present to your school, particularly your library.
Oh my word, what's this about?
Don't worry,
What's
it'll all
this
make sense
about?
now. It'll all make sense. Just come through with me quickly.
Okay, okay.
After you.
Wow.
So yes, this is it.
Oh my word. Oh my word. This is amazing. Inspired. What is this?
Basically what's happened is in grade 2, a teacher gave me 13 out of 10 for recitation. And that, I believe, was really a gift of affirmation. It was a gift of confidence. And today, I literally walk in that purpose. And so I've recently written a children's book called My Seed of Greatness. And so I thought it would be a really great idea to start instilling that lesson in the little ones in your school, that they've got greatness inside of them.
Yeah.
And so I'd love to present you with a couple of sets of my children's book
Oh my word, Darren.
for your gradies,
Yes.
the foundation phase. And then I've just rounded up a whole lot more books, like really phenomenal
Wow.
books for the library. And we can
Oh,
hopefully
good
stock it up.
gracious.
And
There's so many. There's so many.
so
This looks great, man.
there's tons of books here, and I'm hoping that we can
Oh my word.
keep supplying your library with some books and just get it
Oh,
really
this is awesome.
resourced well so that we can see a huge difference being made in the
Darren,
lives of
thank
your
you so
children.
much. This is amazing. Thank you.
So it looks like we're going to need some help.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to need help. Yeah. So I'm going to need to get some of our guys to come and help us get the books out. Can't believe it. Wow. We're going to need. Oh, yeah. So.
Let's
all
do
right,
this, let's do this,
Yeah,
let's do
let's just get busy.
Okay.
And yeah.
Let's get some help.
Yes, let's do that. Wow.
I want you to take away and put away all your pencils, fold your arms and sit quietly.
Surprise visitors in our class. Good morning, class.
Good morning, Mrs. Celia. And how are you today?
I'm awesome today because I've got a lovely surprise for you and your teacher. Mrs. Philander, this is Darren August.
Good morning, ma'am. It's good to meet you.
Welcome, sir.
Thank
Welcome
you.
to our class. He's a motivational speaker and he's a children's book author. And he's come to surprise our class. I'm sure you're very excited.
very excited.
And you're wondering what we're carrying here. It's a gift.
Yes.
It's a gift from Darren.
So I've really just been on a journey to pay forward something that was done for me in my lifetime. And so today I'd love to present a couple of books to the school and possibly share a little important lesson with your little ones if you'd allow me to.
Of course, I'd allow you to. You're more than welcome, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right, so can we put them down? Thank you so much. Oh, lots of gifts today. Lots of books.
So who can tell me what this is? An apple! Who's ever seen an apple? Great, you guys are so clever. So today I want to teach you something very important about an apple. You can put your hands down. I believe that knowledge is power, and giving these young minds some tools to believe that anything is possible inspires me to do more. My hope is that they will take what they've received and make it count, because if there's one thing I've learned, it's that one person can definitely make a difference.
It's true.
It's unreal.